Hello, welcome to V-Vietnamese. I'm Vincent, and this is my very first video in a series for beginner. As you can see in the title, this is your day one in Vietnamese learning. So let's see what we have today. Lesson objectives. Firstly, we're going to learn a brief history of Vietnamese language. And secondly, it's a dialects. Vietnamese have several dialects, and in this session, I'm gonna answer the questions which dialects that you should learn. Session 3, the syllable structure. Session 4, the organ of speech. And finally, the consonants. We're gonna practice the consonant in Vietnamese. Session 1, a brief history of Vietnamese language. Vietnamese had a long and difficult story, but what I'd approach here is which part of history that have the influence on the modern Vietnamese language. Firstly, we will have 1000 years invasion of China. From the 2nd to 8th century AD, Vietnam was ruled by the Han dynasty, and as a result, Vietnamese and everything inside it indeed rely on Chinese a lot. And until today, you would be surprised how much similar between the two languages. For example, on the left one, we have the Chinese character, and on the right, are Vietnamese characters. And this one sounds like Công an, and in Vietnamese, it is also Công an, which means police. And the second one is Hở Lý, and Vietnamese is Hợp Lý. Or the third one is Hoa Truong, or in Vietnamese it is Hoa Trang. But just because it sounds the same doesn't mean that it has similar meaning. For this one, for example, this one Hoa Truong means to make up for woman, but in Vietnamese Hoa Trang means to camouflage. The meaning is slightly different. And the second thing is the French influence from 1884 to 1945. As Vietnam used to be colonized by French, and French was actually the official language that they taught in the Vietnamese school. Therefore, today, you will see that a lot of Vietnamese words are similar to French. For example, chocolat, and Vietnamese is chocolat, which is chocolate, and chemise in Vietnamese is chemise. And lastly, we have the modern English. When it's come to technology or innovative things in the world, Vietnam people tend to copy the original word of it in English. For example, TV, we have TV, or radio, we have radio, or Facebook is Facebook. Knowing the brief history of Vietnamese language is helpful, especially if you're Chinese or French, because if you're studying Vietnamese and you find out that there are similarities in terms of vocab and grammar rules with your native language, it will save your time a lot. And in the next session, I'll talk about the dialects. As Vietnam is divided into 58 provinces and 5 municipalities, Vietnamese in general we have 3 main dialects: the northern dialect, the central dialect, and the southern dialect. The dialectal difference concern both vocab and phonetic system. But if you ask me that what is the standard dialect of Vietnamese people, my answer would be no, we don't have the standard dialects because each area has their own accent. And to answer the question that which dialect should you learn, I have no answer for that, but I have suggestion for you. Firstly, Ho Chi Minh City, or we can say Saigon. Saigon is an economic center of the South. This is a very open city. The city is always bustling and is suitable for energetic people who are seeking for opportunities. And Hanoi, on the other hand, Hanoi is designed to be the cultural center. The lifestyle in Hanoi, in my opinion, is slower and people are more prudent. And that's why Hanoi is suitable for not very open people. Just my opinion. So the answer for the question is there is no standard dialect. You just have to pick the one that suits you because the better connection that you have with the land, the more progress that you will achieve in the future. And one more thing is, in general, Vietnamese people can understand each other, and we also adjust ourselves so that the other listener can understand. This is a fact that I see around me. For example, one of my friends is from Ho City. Ho is the old capital of Vietnam, which is famous for its unique accent. And Ho's accent is very hard to learn for people in other areas. That's why my friend she has to change her accent a little bit so that her friend in the city can hear what she say. And this is a good news for you because if you're a foreigner and you're learning Vietnamese, of course, if you meet people from her city, they have to speak in a manner that easy for you to listen. Section 3, the syllable structure. Vietnamese is an isolating language. We share these characteristics with the Chinese language. It means that in Vietnamese we don't have the inflectional ending and all the words are invariable. For example, in Vietnamese we don't have to change a word with the attempt to make it serve different meaning. For example, with the word đi, which means go in English. Tôi đi học is I go to school. But what happens if I want to change the sentence into the continuous tense? With English, I would have to change the go into going, put ing behind go. But in Vietnamese, this word đi stay the same. But I put one more word before that word, đang, to express the time that I'm going. Tôi đang đi học means I'm going. And if I want to put that sentence into past tense, with English, go become went. But in Vietnamese, I still keep this one. I just put the word đã before đi to express the past tense, yes. And the next one is the syllable structure in Vietnamese. This table shows that how a complete Vietnamese word is formed. Firstly, a word in Vietnamese starts with the initial consonant and followed by the labialization, which is the action of your lip. And after that is a nuclear vowel. And a word stops with the final consonant or the semi-vowel. And in all this word is covered by a tone. And one more thing is, in the syllable structure, the nuclear vowel and the tone are compulsory, while the other things can be deducted. In section 4, before we practice the Vietnamese consonant, I want to teach you the organ of speech in Vietnamese. Organ of speech is the organs in our body that we use when we pronounce a word. And when you learn a new language or when you learn a new vocab, the first thing you would do, like a natural reaction, is you would use your native language to pronounce the new vocab. But of course, this is the wrong way because you can pronounce wrongly. Each language is different. That's why most of the time people would imitate, like you imitate the pronunciation of that word from the local people. But the thing is, not everyone is good at imitating things, and some people just don't have the skill. That's why knowing the organ of speech would help you to pronounce a Vietnamese word correctly, because that is a technical way to pronounce something. And I will apply this table while we practice the consonant in the next slide. The last session of the video, and also the most important thing that we learned today. The table here shows the Vietnamese consonants, and as you see, the table are divided into columns and rows. And here and after, I will teach you the pronunciation of each consonant in each column. We practice the labial sounds or the labial dental sounds. The labial sounds is the sound that requires the participation of one or both lips or the lower lip and upper teeth. The circle I draw here shows which organ of the mouth that we use to pronounce those consonants. Okay, I start with the top one. B, B, B. Stop manner. This sounds like pop or peach in English, but more firmly and with no aspiration. So it would sound like pop, pop, peach, peach. Yes. For example, sha ba, or Singapore, Singapore. Remember, no aspiration. And the next one is b, b, b. Stop manner. This sounds exactly like but or beat in English. For example, ba, 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 ba. Okay, the next one is a consonant digraph. Consonant digraph is a consonant that is created by combining two consonants, and this create one sound. For example, the consonant ph here sounds like f, f, f. This is fricative manner. This sounds exactly like fool or fork in English. For example, fa, fa, or phở, phở. Okay, and the next one is v, v, v. Fricative manner. This sounds exactly like victory or volleyball in English, and this is also the labial dental sound, in which you use your lower lip and upper teeth to pronounce this consonant. For example, Vietnam, Vietnam, or ví dụ, ví dụ. And one more thing is, due to the dialectal difference in the South, the letter V is a palatal sound and pronounced like the Vietnamese letter Y, like yes and Yahoo in English. So if I'm in the South, I would pronounce this one like Việt Nam, Việt Nam, or Ví dụ, Ví dụ. But remember that the standard pronunciation of this consonant is still V, V, like Vietnam and ví dụ. Okay. The last consonant of the labial sound is M, M, M. Nasal manner. This sounds exactly like mom and my in English. For example, mẹ, mẹ. Ho Chi Minh, Ho Chi Minh. Okay. Okay, the next one is the alveolar sound. The alveolar sound is produced with the tongue close or touching the root behind the teeth. The tip of the tongue here will touch this part of the mouth. Okay, let's start with the top one. T, T, T. Stop manner, and remember, no aspiration. And this consonant doesn't sound like the English T, but it sounds like the English TA. For example, the moon or thank you. For example, ta, 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 ta. Remember, it doesn't sound like ta or ta, but ta and ta. Okay, the next one, the, the, the. This is written like the letter D with something in between. And this is stop manner and sounds exactly like don't or dare in English. For example, đi, đi, đứng, đứng. Okay. The next one is a consonant digraph, TH. This sounds like Vietnamese T, but with aspiration. So it sounds like th, th, th. And you can pronounce this consonant by putting your tongue into position like you are about to pronounce the letter T in English, but then use more air from inside so that you can feel the air coming out of your mouth like th, th, th. And remember, this doesn't sound like the English TH. For example, tha thứ, tha thứ, tha thứ. Okay. And the next one is s, s, s. Fricative manner. This sounds exactly like set or sick in English. For example, sinh, sinh, xa, xa. Okay. The next one is n, n, n. This sounds exactly like no or name in English. For example, Vietnam, Vietnam, or na, na. And the next one, l, l, l. This sounds exactly like love or lonely in English. For example, lung linh, lung linh, or la lối, la lối. And the last one is a consonant digraph. This sounds exactly like zoo or zone in English. Z, z, z. For example, gia đình, gia đình, or giống, giống. But due to the dialectal difference, the consonant z in the southern dialect, it sounds like y, like yes or yummy in English, and this is a palatal sound in the south. So if I'm the southern person, I would pronounce this one like gia đình, or giống, giống. But please remember that the standard pronunciation of this consonant is still z, z, like gia đình and giống. Okay, we move to the next part, the retroflex consonants. The retroflex consonants are pronounced when the tone has a flat, concave, or even curved shape, and it is articulated between the alveolar ridge and the heart palate. So you would use this part in the mouth cavity to pronounce those consonants. The first one is the consonant digraph. This sounds like j, j, j. Stop manner, and it's like triple or tron in English, but absolutely no aspiration. So it's would like triple, 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 or John, John, John. For example, trong, trong, or chàng chề, chàng chề. j, j. And due to the dialectal difference, sometimes the southern people pronounce the consonant j like j, j, palatal sounds, and you will learn about this consonant in the next slide. The next one that we have here is sh, sh, sh. Fricative manner. This sounds exactly like shoe or shop in English. For example, sung sướng, and sha bì, sha bì. And due to the dialectal difference, despite the standard pronunciation of these words, it sounds like sh, but both the southern and northern Vietnamese pronounce the letter sh like the letter s. So normally we just pronounce these words like sung sướng, or sa bì. But sh is still the standard pronunciation for this consonant. And the next one, r, r, r. Easy. This sounds exactly like rock and roll in English. For example, rõ ràng, or rồi, rồi. And one more time, due to the dialectal difference in the northern dialects, the letter r is an alveolar sound but without the roll tone. So it would sound like the English z. So if I am a northern person, I would pronounce this word like rõ ràng, or rồi, rồi. But remember that the official pronunciation for this consonant is still r, r, r. Okay. And the next part we have the palatal sounds. The palatal sounds is produced when the body of the tongue raised against the hard palate. This part will touch this part in the mouth cavity. And we have the first consonant, d, d, d. Stop manner, and this sounds like China, but without the aspiration. So it would be like China, China, not China, China. It is China. For example, chó, chó, or chim, chim. Okay, again, ch, ch, chó, chim. Okay, and the next one, y, y, y. This sound exactly like yes and yummy in English with the letter Y. For example, dỗ dành, and da dễ. And remember, in the northern dialect, y would sound like z, which is the alveolar sound that we learned before. So if I am a northern person, I will speak this one like dỗ dành, or da dẻ. But remember, y is still the official pronunciation for this consonant. And this one is ñ, ñ, ñ. Nasal manner, and this sound exactly like Kenya in English. We combine the English letter N and Y together and pronounce it quickly like ñ, 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 ñ. For example, nhớ nhung, and Nha Trang, when we pronounce this consonant, the air is pushed to the nasal way. It will coming out from the nose. Nya, 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 like Kenya. Okay. And the next one is vowel sounds. Vowel sound is produced when the body or the back of the tongue, which is this part, touch the velum here, the soft palate. This part of the mouth of the tongue will touch this part. Okay. The first one, g, g, g. Stop manner. Both sounds like skip or okay in English, but no aspiration. So it's like skip, skip, or okay, okay. For example, con cò, con cò, or kinh đô, or kiếm sống, kiếm sống. And the using of g or g depends on the follows vowel. So remember that these two consonants sound the same. And the using of each consonant would depend on the follow vowel. And the next one, h, h, h. Fricative manner. This sound exactly like car or cool in English, but softer. It's like ka, or cool, cool. Not car or cool, but ka, cool. A little bit softer. For example, khó khăn, or khổ cực. Okay, kh. And the next one we have these two ng. This is a nasal manner. There is no equivalent sound for this in English, but we use this part of the tongue. We touch this part and let the air come out from the nose. Ng, 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 ng. For example, ngoan, ngoan, ngoan. Ngủ, nghỉ. And remember that a lot of people mistake this one for nya. This one we pronounce using this part of the mouth. That is ng, not nya, nya, ng, nya, ng, nya, ng, nya. They are different. And this one is g. This one is also similar to this one. The using of ng or ng depends on the follow vowel that we will learn later. And the next one is g. G. Fricative manner. This sounds exactly like game or gun in English. For example, gỗ, or ghi. And one more time, the using of g or g depends on the follow vowel. We will learn later about this one. Okay, the next one is glottal sounds. Glottal sounds is produced when we use the part of our body. The airflow will come through the vocal tract. It sounds like h. Very easy, just like home or hat in English. For example, học or ha. H. And the last one is labiovelar sounds. This sound is produced with the round lip that form a narrow space at the back of your mouth with the tongue. It's quite complicated to when we read it, but this sound exactly like word or what in English. It's like w, w, w. For example, like wa, or wang, wang. And this is consonant digraph. It is created by putting the letter Q and U together. The sound would be like w, w. Okay? Alright, so we have learned all the consonants in Vietnamese language. So it's time to practice. Remember that in this practice session, I just practiced the standard, the official pronunciation of the consonant in Vietnamese, not the dialectal sounds of the consonants. Okay? B, 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 f, f, v, v, m, m, t, t, d, d, th, th, s, s, n, n, l, l, r, r, j, j, sh, sh, j, 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 y, y, ñ, ñ, c, c, kh, kh, g, g, ng, ng, h, h, w, w. Okay. Okay, so this is the end of lesson 1. If you want more videos like this, please let me know by hitting the like button and subscribing to my channel. And in case you're looking for a Vietnamese tutor, do not hesitate to contact me via this number. Thank you very much and have a nice day.